Howdy, folks. I want to talk a little bit about these conspiracy theories going around about weather manipulation, the ability to create and control hurricanes and tornadoes. So, I have undergraduate degrees in chemistry and biology. I have a master's in education. I'm pretty well traveled and read, and I just want to talk to you about it. Let's imagine that technology existed to make and control a hurricane. And let's use Hurricane Helene as an example. So, one of the largest hurricanes ever in size. And so say we had these devices that we could make and control a hurricane to go where we want it to do. There would need to be all through the Gulf of Mexico, on the coast and inland, on the path of these tornadoes, the devices that would be in existence, supposedly, because we're imagining that that's true. And so they'd have to be on boats or barges or planes or drones. So there'd be the creation of and the manufacture of and the distribution of these devices all across the Gulf of Mexico, the coastline and inland, to make these hurricanes, say Helene, go where we want them to go. So there would be thousands, if not millions of people involved in the process of manufacturing, distributing, setting up, placing on the transportation, and then driving to the locations where these things would need to be to create these massive hurricanes, all right? Somebody in that supply chain, somebody in that process would know of this and would be talking about it and would be giving evidence, would be taking pictures with their phone, would be stealing one of them to show to the world that we are now able to control and manufacture hurricanes and make them move where they want. Okay, but let's imagine nobody did. There would be so many jobs created to make and manufacture, drive, load these things that, it would be a huge boon. That might be why our employment numbers are up this month, right? Because they're making hurricane manufacturing and controlling devices. Is that part of the Green New Deal, maybe? I don't know. But anyway, so there would be somebody in this process of manufacturing, distributing, setting up, and operating these things that would speak out and show proof of this being a thing. But just imagine nobody does that everybody's hush-hush and does this. So imagine you're operating one of these devices in the Gulf of Mexico on a boat, and then a hurricane that you just made starts spinning around at 200 miles an hour. There'd be some consequences to all of those boats and ships or drones or whatever transportation device we're using to get those weather control devices out into the Gulf of Mexico to manufacture this humongous hurricane and move it to the rural communities that supposedly have the lithium that we're trying to steal through eminent domain. Okay, but anyway, just pretend that happened. So we manufacture all these things, and now these boats are in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, and this humongous hurricane has formed. There would be distress calls, there would be wreckage, there would be pieces of the boats and the devices throughout this entire huge trail of destruction that this hurricane reaped. Okay, there would be, if they're using planes, there'd be flight logs. If they're using boats, there'd be some sort of, people have phones everywhere. The Gulf of Mexico is a very busy place. There's tons of things happening around there. And somebody would notice a big circle of boats or barges with devices that were creating hurricanes, right? But just to pretend like they didn't. As this hurricane, for some reason, destroys rural communities, there's a lot of different ways that they could have done it, but they decided to make a hurricane, one of the largest ever recorded, most destructive, and to destroy these towns so that they can use eminent domain. There would be pieces of these devices that we supposedly have to create and control hurricanes and tornadoes along the path of destruction that somebody would have discovered something at some point, right? There are search crews everywhere. There are people all over the place. There would be some piece or part of these devices that are around. None of this has happened. There's no proof. There's no feasible way something like this could happen. The most we do, and is barely successful at all, is seeding clouds, and that isn't even very successful. So you are being tricked into believing nonsense that is absolutely impossible with our current technology and just the ability to actually do this, like to have enough of these machines that do this and then put them where they would need to be to manufacture a hurricane and then create a path for them to move into this. It's absolutely ridiculous. I want you to know that. You're being tricked by people who don't want to change their business practices because of climate change. They don't want to spend more money to make their products make less carbon or pollute less. They'd rather let you believe that the government or some nefarious business is creating hurricanes and moving them specifically to locations that they want to steal from eminent domain. Just all of the stuff I just provided you, just think about those things and you'll know, oh yeah, maybe James is right. It is kind of a far-fetched, ridiculous idea that people can, and what would be the point, right? What would be the point of all of this trouble, work, and money to create a hurricane that devastates and destroys so much, costs so much? What would be the point just for eminent domain? Government wants to take something through eminent domain. It could just pay you to take your property and then mine for lithium. They don't need to destroy billions of dollars worth of infrastructure, kill so many people to do this. You're being manipulated. I'm sorry. I love you. Just get off the internet, get outside, breathe some air, hang around with real people, pet a dog, do some stuff and touch grass and earth and get off the internet. They are not making hurricanes and tornadoes to destroy communities, to seize their assets through eminent domain. Peace. I love you.